Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. This, of course, is Rob, and today I finally get to talk about Hyrule Warriors. Okay, so I'm back. Feels pretty good. Sorry about the delay in having a video come out over the last few days. Just been a little bit busy. As I've mentioned before, occasionally on a video, I'm also a musician. I play in a professional band, and I've been really busy doing some recording stuff for the band lately. So that's sort of been keeping me busy, keeping my computer and a lot of my gear and stuff that I use also for doing Rule of Two Review sort of tied up with all that stuff. It's been really fun and productive, and we'll be moving forward with some of that stuff over the next coming weeks. That's definitely going to be a process, especially on my end. So that's kind of why that's been taking so long and keeping me from making a video over the last couple of days. So sorry about that. And that's something, I don't know, maybe even as we move forward, I might even share some of the music and stuff on the YouTube page here and for Rule of Two Review. So I don't know if there'd be any interest in that, and maybe I'll just kind of do something just for fun, so you guys can let me know if that's even interesting and you would like to hear some of that. So we're a heavy metal band, so you have to definitely be into metal if you're going to want to be hearing any of what it is that me and my band do outside of Rule of Two Review. But it's awesome. We're awesome, so maybe I'll do that just for fun during the process. Also, yesterday was my birthday, July 16th, yesterday, so that also had me busy as well. So this is my first video being able to make it of my brand new age. I'm such an old man. It's just a crazy thing. The years just keep on going by. But anyway, all that fun stuff aside, the topic at hand today, like I said, is of course Hyrule Warriors, which is a game that I've wanted to really kind of talk about throughout the whole experience ever since it had been first revealed last year, and then through E3 this year and all these crazy character reveals that we've been getting. I really haven't shared my opinion much on it, and I wasn't quite sure at first. I mean, I was never down on the game, but I was certainly a little bit confused by it when it had first showed up in that reveal from last year, for a lot of reasons. One, because the whole concept came out of left field. I think most of us felt pretty blindsided by that, and I definitely did as well. And also because it was obviously very, very early at the time that they had showed it last year. I mean, the whole game seemed rather, fairly new, fresh, incomplete. I mean, I think at the time, the title wasn't even supposed to stick. It wasn't even supposed to be called Hyrule Warriors, but sure enough, it's been about a year, and as of right now, as far as we can tell, that is officially the title of that game. And so, like I said, here we are about a year later, and E3 has come and gone, and there's been a ton of information, a lot of buzz about the game, and a lot of characters being revealed, and that's mostly what I'm going to talk about today. I should preface it with the conversation that ultimately, I am super excited for this game. I've become very excited for this game. Like I said, with its initial reveal, even though I wasn't totally down on it, because I was like, well, that's a Zelda game, so that's cool. At the same time, it was just really confusing, and I just didn't know what my level of excitement was. I kind of was reserving enough judgment to say I really just need to understand more of what this game is going to turn into. It seemed like it was either just a really odd, goofy one-off experiment and not necessarily, the full-fledged, almost AAA kind of experience that it seems to be becoming. It's become a huge push for Nintendo. The Dynasty Warriors franchise has been around for a very long time, and we know that it's a Tecmo Koei collaboration, and they're the team responsible for the Dynasty Warrior games, which has done other crossovers in the past as well. But to do it with something like a Nintendo franchise, which is very rare for Nintendo to do this stuff, and let alone a Nintendo franchise, but, arguably their biggest and most popular, Zelda, and their most, sacred, like they keep that so close to their chest, the Zelda franchise. So to see them branching out doing this is both really bold and exciting to see Nintendo doing it, and also in the sense that the game has turned out to look really damn awesome. And I think that that's mostly aided by the fantastic and totally ridiculous cast of characters. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pull that up and just kind of go over them and some of my thoughts in general about them, and that's pretty much mostly going to be the video. But of course, there's Link. That's obvious. He's the one that we've seen the most footage of, so that's great. Zelda is going to be in the game, and it's interesting because Zelda seems to be very much pulled from the Twilight Princess design, which I think is cool. The Link version, I mean, that's not necessarily the case. He's kind of, I can't say generic or stock because that really doesn't exist in the form of Link, but he's definitely of the Twilight Princess ilk, similar in that design, in the sense that he's, just the way his tunic looks, he's just very, I don't know, mature and serious looking, but he's got enough of the soft features that I don't think he really had in Twilight Princess to be sort of like a mix of that Twilight Princess design. So he looks great. He looks really tough. Like I said, super serious and mature, similar to the Twilight Princess design, but I personally don't think he looks right out of that. I think he's missing some of the chainmail and stuff underneath his tunic that was very visible in the Twilight Princess model that I don't see here on the Hyrule Warriors model. But, I mean, I guess we'll see. And so, Zelda, again, ripped right out of Twilight Princess. Funnily enough, this is the character that I might actually be the most excited for. Scrolling through the rest of everything I see, I mean, honestly, I think this is my number one next to Link, and that is going to be Midna, because I flipping love Midna. She is, with the exception of Link himself, she is probably my favorite character I've ever experienced or interacted with in any Zelda game or any Nintendo game. She was so marvelous for that character of Link in that game and for that story in the realm of the Twilight Realm and everything happening within. I mean, it's weird because Twilight Princess kind of rests as probably the most cinematically explored Zelda game and universe of a Zelda game ever. And within that, Midna, being one of many different sort of companion characters that Link has had in a lot of his games, especially the 3D games, she's the most fully fleshed out, she's the most diverse, she's the most unique, she's the most who is her own person. She has her own history, her own backstory, her own character traits, her design, her dialogue, and her language. She has her own motivation. I mean, that's the whole other thing is, you know, you could argue that with Fi, there's a little bit of a motivation there, but it's still directly related to Link in that story. Midna is like this whole other character within this living, breathing universe that Hyrule created and used in Twilight Princess, and she had her own goals and her own sort of direction going on, and it coincided with Link's, and she was kind of using Link early on, and then, of course, they became allies, and then you get the whole reveal of who she is when she's not in her Twilight form. And she was also just very clever, very playful. I mean, I could go on and on forever. You can probably tell about Midna. I loved her to death. Even just her visual design, her physical design. That's amazing. I just love the way she looks. And she's wearing the, I'm forgetting what it's called now. The thing that's around her. Something Counted Shadows or whatever, the thing that she's kind of assembling that she's wearing around her head like as a crown. She's just a wonderful character. Wonderful. And I was obviously very excited and pleased to see her announced in Hyrule Warriors. The fact that she's riding the wolf, like the Link, the wolf version of Link, I mean, that's kind of cool, only in the sense that it makes a lot of sense. It's easy for her to get around that way. I sort of would have overall liked it and preferred if she didn't have to be relegated to riding the wolf, and maybe she could have just floated around and still been very quick and nimble or done something like that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of a minor gripe. I don't really care too much. I'm just glad to see her in the game. She looks excellent. So that was when this game really started to skyrocket into something super special to me. And it started to give us an idea of really where they were going with how they were branching this game out and what they were trying to really accomplish with it and the diversity and variety they were planning on giving us. So, excuse me. So moving on from Midna is the character I even just mentioned. Fi was announced just recently. I know some people pronounce her name Fi. I call her Fi. I loved Fi. I thought she was really great. She was a little bit bland, and yes, she kind of repeated a little bit too many obvious facts to you throughout the game, but she's a really great character, and especially knowing she's the spirit of the Master Sword, I think she's a really interesting character to throw into the game. Agatha is obviously the weird one that a lot of people are saying kind of stands out as the black sheep. Agatha is also from Twilight Princess. There's quite a few characters from Twilight Princess. She's the character. She was the girl in Hyrule Castle in one of the little buildings there in the town who's just collecting bugs, and you return bugs to her, and as you collect more of those golden bugs and you return them to her, both the male and female versions, she gives you a bigger and bigger wallet throughout the game. So she played an important role. But it's just weird because she's like this, very young seeming helpless little girl within that game who just collects bugs, and here she is as a fighting warrior. And obviously it's a weird choice. Her visual design, I always thought she was cool. I always thought she was neat looking just in Twilight Princess, so I think she looks awesome, and in the game, she looks like a great fighter. I mean, I think that's the thing, is that this game is going to show us that they can take any one person and make them an awesome kick-ass fighter, so that's really cool. She's a strange choice, but hey, that's neat. It's more people to flesh it out. Impa from Ocarina of Time, and also from... I'm sorry, not Ocarina of Time. What am I saying? From Skyward Sword. I'm an idiot. Impa from Skyward Sword, who we see her in two different versions, the old and young version. This, of course, is the young version of Impa from Skyward Sword, which is pretty darn cool. She's going to be a battler, a warrior, a fighter, a soldier. She looks really fantastic. Lana's very interesting because she is a new character who's introduced just for this game. I think that's pretty cool that they did that. I would really like to see a couple more characters introduced into this game. She looks like she could fit into the universe of Legend of Zelda pretty well. It'd be interesting to see if she shows up in future actual Zelda games after this game, and I would be willing to bet that's more than likely. I mean, why create this character and not have her show up in some sort of other story-related facet in a future game? So, that's that. She looks okay fighting-wise, but I think it's just cool that they created a character. Here's where we get into some other interesting people. Here's Girahim. I think Girahim is pretty awesome. He, of course, was one of the main villains for Skyward Sword as well. And he's another sword-wielding kind of warrior character. I think that he's going to be really cool because he was awesome as a foe for Link in Skyward Sword. Zant is a great choice, another Twilight Princess character. And he was, again, like the main foe, seeming main foe in Twilight Princess. Really cool design. He seems to fit this universe pretty well. Here's where we get into some other sort of like more unique characters. And I'm not going to go too deeply into, well, I guess these aren't all confirmed as playable. That's the thing. So Lana was the last one confirmed as playable. I should have actually, before moving on, I probably should have actually explained that. Girahim and Zant and these other characters are not confirmed as playable. We know, of course, that you're going to be probably running into a lot of, enemies, bosses, mini-bosses, things like that. And that's what it seems like some of these characters are being laid out to be. Like, they're not playable, that they're going to become bosses. But it's possible that they become playable. Nothing is confirmed. So, Girahim and Zant. And then there's also Sia, who's somebody who I'm less familiar with. I think she's from maybe with the Oracle games. Wizro, Volga, who's another really good enemy. Agarok, who I think he was the fire breather known, he was in Ocarina of Time, I think. And the Imprisoned, who is, of course, from Skyward Sword as well. That was the version that became Demise at the end, which I know is kind of a spoiler. But, the big, huge, black, hulking beast and stuff that kind of grows more and more powerful throughout the game. So those characters, like I said, Imprisoned, Agarok, Volga, Wizro, Sia, Zant, and Girahim, they are not confirmed as playable. They're probably going to show up in, like, enemy or boss capacities, which is certainly great. I would like it if some of these characters also become playable, maybe branch out even further. Why not make villains playable as well? Maybe the threat to the Hyrule in this game isn't so much just the bad guys from the Zelda universe. Maybe it's something else or entirely brand new. And so both the good and bad guys from these games have to work together or also fight the same battles to try to defeat this enemy or this evilness that's doing what it's doing. So I don't know. That's just me kind of thinking out loud, but that's it. That's the cast of characters so far. Like I said, all the good guys, those first ones that I named all the way up through Lana, those are all the ones that are confirmed to be playable so far. Things may change, and you'd have to assume that more characters are going to be arriving down the road. I think that's pretty exciting. There's a lot of things happening there. And so, yeah, that's pretty much my rundown of the list and the cast of characters so far. Like I said, it's really exciting. I love all these characters being introduced. I've become so very excited for this game. I'm going to play as Midna right away as soon as it comes out. It's going to be pretty cool. So the game right now is scheduled for September 26th this year, 2014. I feel like that's probably going to stick, but, you never know if these things are going to change. As of right now, it's set for September 26th, which is like, just a couple months away. It's really not all that far. So very, very exciting. What do you guys think? Are you excited for this game? Are you not? Do you think a lot of these characters are great or don't you? What characters do you want to see that maybe haven't been revealed yet? And do you want to be able to play as a lot of these bad guys that aren't confirmed as playable yet? Or do you not really care and you just want to play as the good guys? I mean, there's a lot of different opinions and sides of the coin that I think we can all fall on. I always love to hear what you guys have to say and what you think about it. So that's it for the Hyrule Warriors news and the character rundown for today. If, of course, you like what I'm doing, you can feel free to subscribe to Rule of Two Review and like and share the video and your comments and your thoughts below. Follow the links below to the Facebook page and the Twitter. And that's all for today. So thanks for tuning in. I, of course, will catch you guys next time.